Some people out there will be living a champagne lifestyle on a lemonade wage. And in this episode, I'm going to be explaining to you why looking poor and having a low profile is important. Okay, so we've gone through the title of this episode, but let's explain a little bit more about that before we get into the nitty gritty. We're going to be looking over why the fact you may be looking like you're having like a champagne lifestyle when in fact you're living on a lemonade wage. A lot of people do this. We're also come to the effects of social media and comparison. So I'm going to be explaining to you why looking poor is more important than looking rich. Okay, so starting off in the first category, why or how does status level affect you and your wealth? Well, we compare ourselves on our own social circle, and that goes with everything from how you live your lifestyle to how much money you have. You don't tend to compare yourself with others that are out of your own social circle. We deem that as not a competition, not realistic, because they're not directly connected with you. However, with our own personal circumstances and our own social circle, we do tend to look at others and see what they have, and it leaves us with a feeling of dissatisfaction. Now, that leads me on to the cycle of dissatisfaction. By trying to compare yourself with others and trying to increase your status level to appear wealthier or more abundant than you truly are, it tends to lead to what we call a cycle of dissatisfaction. For example, you may have a nice car, you may even have some precious metals. But when you start comparing yourself to others, that particular person in your social circle might well have a nicer car. They may well have more precious metals invested in their investment portfolio. And that can lead you to have these own thoughts of self-dissatisfaction. And this is a negative cycle that compounds. And this will then lead on to you sometimes trying to increase your status level to not only appear to be doing better than you are financially or in other abundant areas, but to also make yourself feel better. But this will often bring us back to the common theme that I like to use with describing, comparing yourself with others. And that is the fact that comparison is the thief of joy. And I believe that to be very true. When you find inner peace and you stop comparing yourself to others, you start to be grateful for what you have. Now, moving on to the next category, appearing to have it all. Yes, some of us do appear to have it all. There's no way about it. We do see others that seem to be very, very flush, going on holidays all the time and having lots of fancy things. But this will often leave you feeling very, very unsatisfied. And the reason for that is because you're probably focusing more on others than yourself. And this will lead you to then make spontaneous purchases, maybe clothes, expensive items that have no particular meaning to you, or that may even be a liability in the sense that they're going to take money out of your pocket and not be putting money into your pocket like an asset will. This in turn will lead to temporary gratification. It's very short-sighted. You need to look beyond the end of your nose, and you need to think about delayed gratification, not temporary gratification. And this is a short-term fix to a long-term problem. We've often spoken about the long-term plan and long-term effects. One of those can be the compound effect. Appearing to have it all is fantastic, but in the short term, the short-sighted, you're really hindering your long-term plan and progress. So what you can do is you can alter this by living in a sort of compound effect lifestyle. There's a fantastic book on this called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, and it's all about changing small things in your life on a regular basis. So small, in fact, that they don't have a dramatic change to your life. But over a long-term period of time, you'll find that there's a gradual change in your particular choice of whatever you're working on, and it will dramatically improve your life. And this brings me on to embracing the future, the modesty of what's to come. Now, of course, the general tradition is that the more you have, the more you want. And this is true. I remember working in salary paid jobs before, and I remember saying, God, I would love to earn X amount of British pounds every single month in my take home net pay. And fast forward years later, I'm earning far more than that money that I ever wanted back then. But do I want more now? Of course I do. You always want more. And that's the issue. The more you have, the more you want. But you have to really try and adapt your mindset to embracing what you have, to allowing you to be grateful. Some ways of doing this is to stop comparing. As we said earlier, comparison is the thief of joy, and it can lead onto a cycle of dissatisfaction. Also, less social media. Social media is often very, very fake, is very, very pumped up to be more than what it is. Again, living a champagne lifestyle on a lemonade wage. Now, there's a term that's I quite like, to be honest, and it's called the hedonic treadmill. And what it means is no matter how much you get, your happiness level will always stay the same. Now, the hedonic treadmill was a study done by a university where it was seen to be, if you get more things in life, will your happiness level increase? And from their studies, it proved that no matter how much you get, your happiness level will always generically stay the same. You get those periodic spikes of self-gratification, short-term gratification, but in the long run, your happiness level always plateaus back to your own mindset and mental state of level. So this brings me on to the power of honest living. Honest living, what do I mean by that? Well, it's all about mindset. For me, you can achieve great things just through having the right mindset. An example would being a cup half full rather than a cup half empty. For me, I like to use a few slogans in my life on a regular basis that keep me grounded, because as an investor, when you're accumulating wealth and building a financial portfolio, it does build nicely. It may be a long-term plan, but you can see the progression. But I honestly believe that you still need to become grounded and be grateful for what you have or what you had previously. So some of the slogans I like to use is, if you have health, you have wealth. And this is something that is really, really important to me. If you have your health, you have wealth. And an example I'm going to use here is, you could have £1 million, $1 million, right? But if you became terminally ill, you would easily, without fail, give up that £1 million, $1 million just to not be terminally ill. So it's important to be grateful for your health. And then after that, you can really develop a mindset where everything else tends to become a bonus. And again, I love a saying I like is, if nothing changes, nothing changes. It's very simple, very simplistic, but if you sit down and think about it, it's very true. We all have ambitions, dreams, but you need to take that first step, and you need to keep putting the other foot forward in front of the other. Once you start doing that, you'll start seeing success. But it's important to not have that attitude of trying to live a champagne lifestyle on a lemonade wage. Let your success do the talking. And that all finishes with the mindset. The mindset is the most powerful tool you have in your investment vehicle. It's not your precious metals. It's not your S&P 500. It's not your crypto. It's not property. It's your brain. And once you adapt that ability to be truly happy within oneself, that will lead on to making fantastic financial decisions and better life decisions in your own life. One book, if you are interested on bettering your own financial mindset, is The Courage to Be Disliked, or The 4 Agreements. And that's specifically a very, very good book, teaching you about the mindset of being mentally strong enough to not let the thoughts and voices of others affect how you feel. And it's a very interesting read that really did open my eyes, as much as a finance book like Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki did, or The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. We've gone through why status level affects wealth, how appearing to have it all isn't everything, how to embrace modesty, and the power of honest living. I hope you enjoyed these categories, these breakdowns of why looking poor is important, and also carrying a low profile is important as well. Please let me know in the comments section below if you've enjoyed this episode. It's more of a mindset based video today, but definitely give me some feedback, because I do like seeing the response from you guys in the comment section below. And if you've enjoyed it and you've stayed all the way till the end, please take a second to hit that like button, because it really helps the channel grow and it allows this content to get to more people who have the same mindset as yourself. Thanks very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you all in the very next episode. Bye bye.